When a foreigner owns real estate in Vietnam, the legal structure is already distinct from many other jurisdictions. Land is owned by the state. Individuals hold land use rights and, in certain cases, housing ownership rights. Upon death, those rights do not disappear, but they do not transfer automatically either. The starting point is whether the deceased left a valid will. If a will exists, its validity must be assessed under applicable law. If no will exists, Vietnamese statutory inheritance rules apply. This distinction defines the distribution pathway. For real estate located in Vietnam, Vietnamese inheritance law generally governs succession. Nationality of the deceased does not override this principle. The law of the place where the property is located prevails. If the will was drafted abroad, it must undergo legalization or consular authentication and certified Vietnamese translation. Vietnamese authorities will examine both formal validity and compliance with domestic mandatory provisions. Procedural discipline determines admissibility. Vietnamese inheritance law protects certain compulsory heirs, including minor children and dependent family members. Even if the will allocates the property elsewhere, statutory shares may apply. Mandatory protections cannot be ignored. Foreigners may inherit real estate in Vietnam, however, ownership eligibility depends on housing and land regulations. Certain categories of property and certain foreign heirs may face limitations. If the foreign heir meets ownership conditions under Vietnamese housing law, the property can be transferred into their name. Formal inheritance declaration and land registration procedures must be completed. Title does not update automatically. If the heir does not qualify to hold ownership under Vietnamese law, they may be required to transfer or sell the property within a statutory period. The heir retains economic value, but may not retain indefinite ownership. Regulatory compliance is decisive. In uncontested cases, inheritance is typically processed through a notarial declaration of inheritance. If disputes arise regarding entitlement or validity of the will, court proceedings may be required. Litigation significantly extends timeline. After inheritance rights are confirmed, the Land Registration Authority must update the land use right certificate. Until registration is completed, the heir cannot legally dispose of or mortgage the property. Administrative formalities are substantive in effect. Inheritance of real estate may trigger personal income tax or administrative fees depending on the relationship between deceased and heir. Close relatives may benefit from tax exemptions. Foreign heirs must verify classification carefully. If the property was acquired during marriage, marital property rules may apply. The surviving spouse may already hold a legal share. Before inheritance distribution begins, asset classification affects calculation of the estate. In cases involving children from previous relationships, inheritance disputes over real estate are common. Competing claims may arise between surviving spouse and children. Clear documentation reduces conflict. A foreign probate judgment alone does not authorize transfer of real estate in Vietnam. Recognition by a Vietnamese court may be required. Domestic compliance remains mandatory. Uncontested inheritance of real estate may take several months depending on documentation readiness. Contested cases may extend significantly longer. Cross-border elements add additional procedural layers. During the inheritance process, property transactions are effectively frozen. Heirs cannot sell, transfer, or leverage the asset. Liquidity planning is important. Foreign property owners in Vietnam should review estate plans proactively. Align wills with Vietnamese inheritance and housing law. Ensure documentation can be legalized efficiently. If the property is held through a Vietnamese company, inheritance may affect share ownership rather than direct land use rights. Corporate succession planning becomes relevant. Structure determines impact. If you own real estate in Vietnam, do not assume your foreign estate plan alone governs succession. Vietnamese inheritance and land law will shape the outcome. Planning must reflect local legal reality. Real estate in Vietnam owned by foreigners can pass to heirs. But succession requires compliance with Vietnamese inheritance law, housing regulations, and land registration procedures. Upon death, legal structure determines continuity. Without proactive planning, complexity replaces certainty. If you are a foreign property owner in Vietnam, or expect to inherit real estate here, do not assume that ownership transfers automatically upon death. Eligibility, inheritance classification, land registration, and housing regulations must all align under Vietnamese law. For structured estate planning or post-death succession guidance, contact LTS Law at lts.com.vn for professional legal support. In Vietnam, continuity of real estate ownership depends not on intention, but on compliance.